ربنا أعلاك قدرا يا إمام الأنبياء أنت في الوجدان حي أنت للعينين ضي أنت عند الحوض ري أنت هاد وصف.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Your Charity. My name is Firas Patel. We'd like to thank you, the viewer, for staying with us and, of course, joining us here on Hilaal TV during this Ramadan. Now, Ashraful Aid will be hosting their live pledge line, and a lot of the pledge they are going to be doing is in assistance of the people of Gaza. Of course, we continue to see the genocide that happens there and so much destruction and so much heartbreak that is happening in that part of the world. But NGOs are stepping up and doing their part, and Ashraful Aid is one that has been doing it not just since October the 7th, but they've been there for quite a few decades. So inshallah, I'd like to welcome Maulana Sohail Wadi, a very familiar face here on Hilaal TV. Maulana, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Maulana, when we last spoke, of course, you said that Ashraful Aid has been in Palestine for quite some time. Talk to us about the history of Ashraful Aid in Palestine.
So alhamdulillah, Ashraful Aid has been working in Palestine for many years. Alhamdulillah. Palestine has always been a place that's very close to our heart, first as Muslims, and then also in terms of the humanitarian crisis that is there. And it has been really for many years, under occupation, the struggle that people are on a day-to-day basis, the economic struggles that people are facing, the educational challenges that people are facing, the medical challenges that people are facing. And alhamdulillah, Ashraful Aid has been involved in many projects prior to October 7th, whether it was food projects, educational projects, madrasa projects, hifz projects. Alhamdulillah, Ashraful Aid has been working in Gaza for many years, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And you mentioned Gaza, and because that's where the epicenter of so much of this destruction has happened. But Maulana, I know there's obviously work that's been done on the occupied West Bank area also, because we see suffering and destruction happening there also. So it's not only centered around one place. But Gaza, I mean, one needs to look at this since the early 2000s when, the open-air prison was established by Israel. How was Ashraful Aid able to stamp its name amongst the people there?
Alhamdulillah, it's through our direct intervention, on grassroots levels, to assist people, that really require aid. And our focus has been very strong in terms of education, in terms of the schools that are there, the provision of basic necessities, the provision of stationery, the provision of education support, madrasa support. And alhamdulillah, this has established Ashraful Aid in Gaza. Alhamdulillah, the assistance that people require, even before October 7th, it was really sad and dire. Now it's a different.
It's sadness. A genocide. It is.
It's a genocide.
Yeah.
Just to understand the effect is that the effects even on our aid workers. So for example, after October 7th, one of our aid workers that was working there, I phoned her to speak, to discuss some of our projects that we're going to roll out, and all of a sudden there was just like a blank. I couldn't get hold of the person, and after like the next day or so, I managed to get hold of her, and she told me that my house has been bombed. I'm in the streets now.
Oh, no.
With my family, alhamdulillah, she was safe. So then she said she's going to go to and stay with her parents' place. Her whole family will move to her parents' place. But then that also got bombed. So then she moved to a school, and with communal living, like all refugees, they're going to a safe space. You would think a school would be a safe space to
But
stay.
then they bombed that also.
That also got bombed. And then there was total silence for almost a month after that. And then we finally were able to make contact with her. And she told me now she's in northern Gaza in Jabalia camp,
Yes.
as a refugee. So someone that was part of assisting and helping people has become also a refugee. And this is really sad. And this is like so many humanitarians that have been working there. Have either been killed. They've been the humanitarian trucks, aid trucks have been destroyed. Humanitarian organizations have been completely wiped out in Gaza, and it has become extremely challenging to be able to provide aid now. And like you said, it's open. It's a genocide. The throttling of humanitarian aid by the regime. It's horrific. It's what people actually require, and you're just allowing a little bit of aid to go through, just to appease, the international community to say that you are sending aid, but it's nowhere near the aid that is actually required. The aid required is now for 2 million people that have become displaced, and it's really sad, and as humanitarians, it pains our heart to see the suffering of people, and even our own people that have been working with Ashraful Aid for many years, that have been implementing projects for Ashraful Aid for many years, our field workers, they now basically also require aid. That this is really, really heartbreaking.
Maulana, we talk about aid workers. I mean, we do reports on our news about, aid workers from UNRWA. We talk about other aid workers. We talk about the medical field, Doctors Without Borders, and they say the same thing. They are in a perilous situation. These are the workers that are supposed to be aiding the people. They've now become refugees. They have absolutely nothing. And put us through the life of, a humanitarian organization like yourself with workers in Gaza, just how difficult that is, knowing that they were the providers and now they are looking to be people that need to be provided.
The destruction in Gaza, hospitals have not been left alone. Innocent humanitarians, people that are there, non-participant, just there to assist. Medical doctors have not been left alone. Journalists have not been left alone, and the destruction of people's lives that have been totally uprooted. 2 million people, all of a sudden, totally uprooted. Last year, we done a live from Gaza, showcasing some of our work with our people. This year, there's total destruction that's happening. So it was bad, but now there's total destruction, and we can only ask for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help. But it is horrific. In fact, we actually, this famine that is now creeping up.
Yes.
And
it's Ramadan also.
It's Ramadan. The words can't explain what people are going through. I can't explain it. What people are going
Maulana, and that makes you feel grateful, where we are right now in South Africa, doesn't it? Knowing that when you look at how the children are struggling to get iftar, even sahur, just makes you feel grateful, doesn't it? But also understanding where they are from and the difficulties that they face.
Yeah, we must make lots of shukr. We wake up in peace.
Yeah.
We wake up with something on our table. We know, inshallah, this iftar, there'll be some lovely meals that are there. We really have to make a lot of shukr and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People that are there, one is your own suffering, but imagine you are a widow with 5-6 children staying in a refugee camp. You don't know how you're going to provide for that family. To see your own suffering is one thing, But to see your children suffer and to see your family suffer, we can only make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it for them, makes it easy for them. Ameen.
Ameen, Thumma Ameen. After the break, I continue my conversation with Maulana Sohail Wadi. We are going to be talking about how you can contribute towards alleviating some of the difficulties for the residents of Gaza. To stay tuned.
أنت عند الحوض ري أنت هاد وصفي أنت عند الحوض ري أنت هاد وصفي.
Welcome back to Know Your Charity. I'm in conversation with Maulana Sohail Wadi from Ashraful Aid, looking ahead to their pledge line, and a lot of that pledge is going to be focused on helping the people of Gaza. And I think we're all seeing what is happening, whether it's on mainstream media or on social media, the genocide that is currently happening right there. Maulana, before we talk about how the viewers can help contribute towards this, a lot of the work that Ashraful Aid has done, it's so many layers, isn't it? It's, assisting with food, assisting with psychosocial help, assisting with just the basic needs of a human. So much that Ashraful Aid has contributed, haven't they?
Alhamdulillah, there's been various levels of aid that has been provided. The aid from within Gaza, also, the remaining people that are there, supporting them, the remaining businesses that are there. Even it's on a very base level, for example, like eggs, people are able to sell eggs, people are able to sell vegetables on a very, very base level. The very basics like blankets. Alhamdulillah, Ashraful Aid has been supporting water, the provision of drinkable water. I'm saying it, but the reality, I know the constrained nature of how that aid is actually being provided. It doesn't do justice. I won't be able to. I won't be able to do justice. So to make it easy, just in terms of the provision of water, the provision of very, very basic necessities, and obviously, the large-scale provision of aid, that is through trucks from Egypt via the Rafah border into Gaza. Alhamdulillah, our first convoy was successful. Alhamdulillah. We are a number of organizations working together, alhamdulillah, that has sent, our first convoy has gone. Our second convoy is en route, alhamdulillah, the goods have been procured, and alhamdulillah, inshallah, in the next few days, those trucks will also reach, inshallah.
Inshallah. I mean, Maulana, for the viewers that want to pledge, what can they pledge towards?
Alhamdulillah, the most important, is to get as much aid into Gaza. That, alhamdulillah, is through the sponsorship of a truck. Sponsorship of one truck is 50,000 US dollars. That's to send one truck, which comprises of food, basic food, blankets, clothing, your very, very basic items. Alhamdulillah. So that's on a very, very base level. If obviously, to make it a bit easier, you're looking at around 30,000 rand a pallet that people can sponsor. And if you have to break it down even further, like we're doing now, iftar right through the month of Ramadan. For one meal it's 120 rand per meal, which people can assist. This is the very basic, just food and water is what people require at this stage, and inshallah, we will try our level best to provide as much aid as possible, inshallah.
Maulana, when we see how aid is being dropped through parachutes, we see it's not just the Israeli occupation force that are blocking or making life very difficult for trucks to enter, but there are protesters, Zionist protesters that are stopping it from going through. That's difficult, isn't it, Maulana? Knowing that across the other side there are people that are beyond desperate for food, and they have every right to, given how they've been persecuted and starved.
100%, people are desperate. It's unfortunate. It's horrific, rather, the way that humanitarian aid is being throttled.
Yeah.
It's horrific, it's genocide, and we're going to have to call it out.
It is what
for
it is. Yes, definitely.
Definitely,
yeah.
All humanitarian organizations that are working there, and purely just to provide humanitarian aid, we're non-political, will tell you that the onslaught against humanitarian aid and humanitarian workers, it's unfathomable. It's people, it's against humanity. It's a genocide against humanity. International law will tell you that humanitarian aid workers, humanitarian aid should not be touched. But the way it's been throttled and the difficult amount of hoops that we have to jump through in order to provide that aid, it's total genocide. And we make shukr that alhamdulillah our convoys have passed through successfully. But it's not easy, and we have to be open about it. There's lots of risk. It's not easy. It's challenging. But alhamdulillah, only through the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that alhamdulillah our convoys have gone through.
And we make sure that not only your convoy, but any other, 8 convoys that are going through, because the people of Gaza need every single ounce of help. Maulana, we've of course seen, as South Africans, naturally we take an affinity, most of us take an affinity for the liberation of Palestine, for the people of Palestine. We've seen how the South African government has done, taking it to the ICJ. Talk to us about how the people of Gaza really appreciate and love us as South Africans and the work we are doing through agencies like Ashraful Aid, knowing that we are doing so much to help the people of Gaza.
Alhamdulillah, wherever we've been, and the people that we meet and the people that we're in communication with, our teams on the ground, are really, really appreciative to South Africans. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of rhetoric from world leaders around the world. But South Africa has stood up, and South Africa has gone beyond rhetoric and have actually, in an open way, have exposed the genocide that is happening in Palestine. And South Africans have openly stood with the Palestinians and will continue to do so. Inshallah. Without any fear, without any fear of repercussions. There is. On Sunday, alhamdulillah, we were with the minister on speaking on Palestine. And South Africa, alhamdulillah, has stand up for truth and has stood up for justice when the world and world leaders have remained silent. And alhamdulillah, we should be proud and we should be make shukr and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we will be etched in history on the right side of justice.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah. I mean, to end the conversation, just your final thoughts for the viewers.
We have to do what we can for the people of Palestine. On humanitarian grounds, as a Muslim, on the base insaniyat of humanity, we have to do whatever we can. Whether it's donating that 120 rand for a meal, if Allah Ta'ala has provided us more to provide a pallet of food, if we can send as much trucks as we can, alhamdulillah, we should try to rally our family and friends. To let us see if we can at least, from our side, send at least so many pallets or so many trucks. And we will be trying our level best, inshallah, to raise as much trucks as we can of food aid to the people of Palestine and Gaza, inshallah.
Inshallah. I mean, Maulana, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your pledge a successful one, inshallah. I mean, and may it be successful so that the people of Gaza, the residents of Gaza, can get the aid that they so deserve, inshallah. I mean, Maulana, as always, a pleasure having you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That's Maulana Sohail Wadi from Ashraful Aid. Don't forget their live pledge line happening here on Hilaal TV. For myself, Firas Patel, and the rest of the team in Johannesburg, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Do stay tuned to Hilaal TV for more Ramadan content.
فجرا جئت بعد العسر يسرا ربنا أعلاك قدرا يا إمام الأنبياء أنت في الوجدان حي أنت للعينين ضوء حول